she kisses him, he remembers. It's as if his past lives come flooding back to him, much like when we remember who we are by knowing all is love. Welcome to another episode of TrueLove Talks. This is one in a series of videos taking part in Vlogmas, where YouTubers make a video a day on the theme of Christmas. But if everything in this world is about Christmas, then anything's fair game. So I want to thank you for all your wonderful comments. It's been really great reading some of these comments and hearing some of your personal stories. So keep it up. I want to hear more. One of your comments was about the Matrix solar system, or the soul trap. So I want to talk about that today. This is my interpretation of what this place is based on what I know to be true to date. You might have a different perspective. If you've been following my channel for quite some time, you will know that I do not subscribe to the soul trap idea. It is part of the system, but I don't get stuck there. This is a very common conclusion that's made by conspiracy-minded people, that this world is a soul trap and we're held prisoner by alien beings that harvest our energy by tormenting us through this trauma center we're in. And they play on our emotions, pulling on our strings that are tied to our chakra system, telling dramatic stories in the news, movies, theater, and then they harvest our energy to feed the system and themselves. That's kind of in a nutshell what it is. And yes, it's partly true, but let me explain. Simply put, this world is a creation of what the world would be like without true love. So true love fell asleep and dreamed a world, and everything in this world is a reminder to her to wake herself up and go back home. So Alice in Wonderland is basically the representation of what we live in. Alice fell asleep and dreamed this world, and everything was inverted, and there was a duality system, good versus evil, because duality split the consciousness into two. Because in a world without true love, everything is divided, everything is at war with one another. So this consciousness system that was created in this dream world took on a life of its own. This ego mind, this narcissistic mind, and this is the soul trap. The Gnostics refer to it as the demiurge. It's not really even a physical thing, it's a mind creation in itself, because it took on a life of its own. Much like anything you create becomes an egregore, and an egregore requires feeding energy and attention. But one question that I think is important here is, if you believe this is nothing more than a soul trap, and we're stuck here in perpetuity just to suffer endlessly at the hands of the elite ruling class, who are evil Satan worshippers and baby eaters, what is our purpose for being here? I mean, the creation story says that we were created as workers to serve the gods. If this world is just this evil, horrible energy farm, can you not find some good here? If you can find some good here, then this place has to be more than just a satanic hellhole. So I don't see this realm as a prison system, but it can be viewed this way. The world is a consciousness creation, a co-created shared reality in which we are actors on the world stage performing a role that is mapped out in the stars. And we are one of the stars. That is how I see this world. And part of that play is the good versus evil duality system and the controlling elites. This is part of the play. So believing in this prison system, you are believing in the play, but you're only seeing part of the story. This realm started out as a paradise, what people refer to as the Garden of Eden, but the creators fell in love with their creation and they wanted their creation to live. This is the story of the Anunnaki, Enki and Enhershag. They were the creator gods along with Enlil, and Enki was seen as the protector of humanity, fell in love with his creation and wanted to help them awaken, help them come to an autonomous nature. So in the beginning of the story, we played in a world knowing who we really are, but the longer we stayed, the more we forgot who we were and we forgot where we came from. The creator gods were the Titans. And even that is a story. And they fell into their dream world and created gods above them who were the Olympians. And these Olympians took over and they still rule the world. So we are the creators, we are the titans, we fell into our creation and forgot who we really are and created gods above ourselves because we needed a story to tell ourselves as to how we got here. Consciousness split in two, left versus right, or good versus evil, red versus blue, and Christ consciousness is in the middle. It's the merging of the two. The idea of the solar system is very appealing to the ego mind. Ego is focused on the external, passing blame, identifying with the physical, and being at the mercy of things beyond our control. So there's the lower mind and the higher mind, which are two halves of the same coin. So on the other extreme of the higher mind, people are serving others or the external God at the expense of self-care. It's still externally focused. The ego in its darkest form is the narcissistic mind, or a parasite. It feeds off energy and attention of others. Narcissists feel they don't exist without external attention and validation. As we fell deeper and deeper into the lower mind, we created a world that reflected this. Our consciousness created a world that was run by parasites who have us running around like slaves to feed the system, triggering our emotions through the media, destroying society, and stressing out our bodies to keep the parasite system alive. They aren't alien reptilians, though. This is a massive egregore that we sustain by feeding it our energy and attention. And we're trapped here simply because we forgot who we really are, and we believe that the physical is real. So when we die, we come back because we believe in the system. And the system is a debt system. We perpetually feel indebted. We feel indebted to the system. We're chasing the dollar. We feel we are born into sin, so we have to constantly make up for our wrong deeds or our evil nature. This is purely from the ego consciousness. So our value is measured in terms of our behavior. How kind are you? How giving are you? It plays on our feelings of guilt to get us to come back here, either to redeem yourself or to be in service to others. And we're never told the real reason why we must come back, because that is to find the truth. And in order to find the truth, we have to want the truth to find it. As I've said before, there's several different kinds of beings here, but ultimately there's the gods who created this place, and then there's their creation. The gods will always return home once they remember who they really are, whereas the creation must earn their way into becoming conscious. Now, perhaps the created beings will never leave this place. Just like we saw in the Nines and Free Guy, they simply continue to exist in this realm, but more conscious of their actions so they can run this world without the guidance of the gods. Perhaps the goal of the gods is to have this creation sustain itself. And if you look at the creation stories that are all around the world, they all point to this fish god, Oannes, Enki, Osiris, Poseidon. It's all the same god in different forms or different names, coming to teach them how to live here. Like I said, Enki is the protector of humanity. He's the god who loved his creation and believed that humans could become autonomous, and this is just like the story of Geppetto and Pinocchio. So if the world was nothing more than a soul trap, an energy harvesting machine, then why would there be a god who wants the people to awaken to their autonomy? Because it only benefits the system to keep the people asleep and in ignorance. Conspiracy-minded people will point to fear-mongering evidence of things like fluoride in the water, the dumbing down of society through the education system, hypnosis and mind control through the television, society agendas, birth control, poisons in our food, pollution, toxic deodorant, lies they told us to keep us from the truth. All of this is part of the ego mind system. Our consciousness created this stuff. So the ego needs to stay alive, and it only believes in the existence of the physical. The entire system of this fake world is run off the ego consciousness. If this place was a hellhole of perpetual suffering with the sole purpose of feeding energy back to the system because we are nothing more than energy providers, then all these evil beings would be real. But they aren't. All of it is just a play. So the concept of a soul trap is really appealing to the ego consciousness because, again, it allows the ego consciousness to play victim to the external circumstances, and people who are in this mindset don't need to do anything to exit out because they don't see an exit. If it's a soul trap, there is no way out. However, everything in this realm is pointing to the way out. IXXI, 9/11, Christ consciousness. Obviously, this message is only for a select few. Not everyone sees it, so for them, the realm is a dead end. But once you see that everything on the world stage is literally a play, and that the fear is not real, then there is no other solution, that this is nothing more than a story that we told ourselves. The entire story is written in the stars. It's the story of how we created this world and then fell in our awareness of who we really are, believing this world is real, and remembering who we are all over again so we can return home. When the entire universe exists simply to remind us of who we really are so we can return home, it cannot possibly be evil. And the only answer is that everything is love. Home is where the heart is. Home is a state of being, connecting heart with mind. True love is buried treasure because we have to dig to find it. This world is a story, a torus, a mind creation, a dream. The soul trap is the mind, so the only way out is by leaving the mind of duality and returning to Christ consciousness. Hope you enjoyed this video. Tune in tomorrow for another one. Hope you're doing well. Bye for now.